Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I thought I would talk to you from the balcony today. I'm on my balcony. It's really sunny out. It's actually a lovely day. It has been grey for the past few weeks. Or what am I saying? Not for the past few weeks, for the past few days. It's weird in Nantong, like Nantong weather. Oh yeah, I haven't even told you where I live. In China. I live in China, but I live in Nantong, which is in the Jiangsu province. It's on the east coast of China, near to Shanghai. So it's about an hour away from Shanghai, 2 hours, depending on the train that you take, the car that you take, whatever. They have fast trains these days. But yeah, so coming to you from my balcony, let me show you actually what the view looks like. So that is my view, which I love, absolutely love. I love where I live and I love just the city too, really. I love Nantong. But that's not the point of this video. And if you want to hear more about Nantong, then definitely let me know in the comments. And maybe I'll take you around Nantong one day on a sunny day out when it's a nice day. It's a real hit and miss with Nantong. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's not. You can never really say, like through this summer there have been really rainy days and then sometimes there are super sunny days, and we're lucky today it's a sunny day. Anyways, today I wanted to talk to you guys about being an international person during COVID, because I feel as though myself, along with other people I know who are international, have had quite unique experiences with COVID and with their circumstances and with their situations. Now, what do I mean by international? Well, I'm speaking from my experience and my personal reality. I'm an international teacher. So I live in various different countries that aren't my home country to teach. And it's actually quite a big network, international teaching. There's a big network, a big industry of international teachers, people who go abroad to other countries to teach in international schools or bilingual schools or institutions. You know, people go abroad to teach English in institutions. So that's what I am. So as a result, I feel as though I've had a very unique experience with COVID, in the sense that I actually ended up traveling more than I ever have in my life during the pandemic, and I will explain why. I was counting it earlier today, and I think, if I get this right, from the first place I was to China, now where I am, actually traveled to 9 different countries during the pandemic. Which is crazy, right? You would think that during the pandemic, you're gonna stay at home and do nothing, or, you know, go nowhere and be starved of traveling. I wasn't. And most of the places I traveled to were not out of choice, in the sense that there was a requirement, there was a purpose for me to travel to that country. And there was one where it wasn't. I'll go into it. So when I found out that COVID happened, or was happening, or a pandemic was coming up, I was in Kuwait. I was teaching in Kuwait, and during that time, we were told that, what were we told? Basically, okay, so the lowdown is, I was on a tourist visa while teaching in Kuwait. I hadn't yet gotten, I'd been there for about 6-7 months, and I hadn't yet gotten a visa, a teacher's visa, to stay there as a resident. So in the Middle East, when you work there, you basically have to leave the country every 3 months if you have a visit visa, so that you can renew your visit visa. So that's what I was doing. I was leaving the country, coming back. And because COVID was happening, because the borders were closing, I had to leave the country, because otherwise, if the borders closed and I was on a visit visa, I would end up overstaying my visa, and if there weren't any flights, I'd probably have a huge fine, not be allowed in with my visit visa, blah, 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 blah. So my school advised leave the country, and there were like a couple of charter flights leaving for me to go to Kuwait. I speak about this in another video. For me to leave Kuwait and go to the UK. So went from Kuwait to the UK. Then UK wasn't my final destination because I didn't have any family there, and I didn't want to have to be spending Airbnbs the whole time. So I had to contact the embassy in order to get back to Cyprus. So again, this was a necessity for me. I had to leave out of financial necessity, and also because of my family being there. So I decided to go to Cyprus, and eventually I got permission to go to Cyprus, and I stayed in Cyprus. Then, at the time, borders had reopened from Cyprus to Greece, which seemed like COVID was being, taken control of. Everything was under control. So Greece was open. So I was in Cyprus and I was getting a bit bored. And I was thinking, do you know what? Like, Greece is open. Seems like COVID's fine. It's open to tourism. Might as well. So I booked a flight to Greece by myself and island hopped. Oh, and I didn't mention, it was also because my parents were there island hopping. So I was like, okay, I'll do it too. Since they said it's fine, it's safe, it's under control. So I went. And then did my island hopping and then came back to Cyprus. And the borders were still open, seemed like everything was under control. So when the borders seemed still open, after being in Cyprus for a few weeks, I was like, you know what, I'll just go back to Greece. It's so close, and summer was dragging on. And you know what, Kuwait was not letting me in, and I still had a contract with Kuwait. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I was just waiting. And so I was like, well, I can either sit in Cyprus for ages or go back to Greece. So I went back to Greece. While I was in Greece, the second time, I found out that my job in Kuwait was no longer going to be employing me because of the technicalities of the job, because of, when I say technicalities, the technicalities of COVID and getting me into the country and all of that, it was difficult. So they couldn't continue to employ me. So this happened around August, at a time when I needed to figure out a job by September, because obviously school start in September. So I was frantic, and I remember being on the boat in Crete and being like, oh my gosh, actually it wasn't in Crete, I was on the boat to Crete. I was on a ferry from Athens to Crete, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I don't have a job anymore. So all of a sudden I started scouring, messaging everyone I had in my address book, everyone I knew in the teacher world, can you find me a job? I was really crazily trying to find a job. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna have a job? It's COVID and I'm never gonna be able to find a job. I was really nervous. Anyways, after a couple of days of me searching, I actually managed to find some interview. Actually, one interview. There was one interview I found. So I was in Crete and I was told there was an interview, and it was for China. And that one interview, I don't know what was in the stars, my life, it was written for me or something. I got the job. I've never had a situation in my life where the one interview I got that job. Usually I have to do 3-4 interviews. The first interview I did, I got the job. So I was like, yes, oh my gosh, yes, I have a job. Oh my gosh, I'm moving to China. It was like, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm moving halfway across the world. But my goodness, did I not know? That was just when the journey began. The craziness began. So I'm in Crete, and they tell me that I have to go to the UK if I want to get into China, because I have a British passport. So I was like, oh, so I'm gonna have to go to the UK. Funny story. while I was in Crete, I had some friends who were in Thessaloniki. And they were like, hey, we're in Thessaloniki, or we're going to Thessaloniki. We see you in Greece. Do you want to meet up? And I'm like, oh, yeah, why not? And they're like old friends. Actually, one friend I knew in Dubai. The rest I didn't know. But she was like, oh, I'm going with 2 friends. Come and meet me in Thessaloniki. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to the UK soon. Thessaloniki is on its way. Let me go see them. And then I can go to the UK, start my visa process. So, as I was with them in Thessaloniki, guess what? Turns out they live in Northern Ireland, which is the UK, Britain. And so, while I was looking for Airbnbs to stay in the UK, my friend's like, do you know what? Ireland is a lot cheaper than London. Or, because I was planning to go to London, than the UK. Why don't you stay in Northern Ireland? And I was like, sure, that sounds good. Why not? It's still the UK. So I start searching on Airbnb for Northern Ireland. Then she comes out of the shower and she's like, because we're all staying in the same Airbnb. She's like, hey, do you know what? On second thought, it's fine. I don't want you staying in Northern Ireland unless you're staying with us, okay? So you come to Northern Ireland and you come stay with us while you're trying to figure your visa out. You're welcome. And I was like, seriously? She's like, yes. I was like, are you sure? I don't want to be in your way. And she's like, no, it's fine. I was like, I know you have work to do. She's like, it's fine. You don't have to worry. You can stay with us. So I was like, wow, oh my gosh. So I didn't even have to pay for accommodation. And I went and stayed with them in Northern Ireland. So that's now, so it was Kuwait, it was Cyprus, it was Greece, and now it's Northern Ireland. Have I missed anywhere? No. Then, after Northern Ireland, what happened was the visa process took forever. The visa process took so long. So, like 2 months. Anyway, when I got close to getting the visa, and by the way, usually with getting into China, I've traveled to China before. It usually takes not long. But this process took forever. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so the visa process took ages. By the time I was close to getting the visa, I was told, okay, the visa office in Ireland, Northern Ireland, is shut. You need to go to another part of the UK in order to get your visa. So what did I do? I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to, maybe I'll go to London. I was like, do you know what? Scotland is cheaper and Scotland has a visa centre that's open. So I was like, okay, let me book a flight to Scotland. And my friends who I stayed with also booked a flight. So I booked a flight to Scotland to get my visa. Again, circumstantial, you know, it's cheaper. So I went to book an Airbnb in Scotland. And then in Scotland, I got my visa. And then, while I was in Scotland, I was told, okay, well, there are no flights from Scotland to China. You're gonna have to get a flight from somewhere else. So I looked online, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to London, to England. So, Kuwait, Cyprus, Greece, Northern Ireland, Scotland, London. Oh, I just realized it's 7 countries. So then I went to London, got my PCR test, and finally, after all that time, ended up in China. So it's 7 countries. It's Kuwait, Cyprus, Greece, Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, China. 7 countries in the span of what? I left to Cyprus, I think in April, May, June, July, August, and I traveled. So I guess in the span, I don't know, in the span of maybe 4 or 5 months, 7 countries during a pandemic. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how this profession, being abroad, can cause you to be in certain circumstances that are uncomfortable, but you can make the best of. And that's what I feel I did. I really feel like I made the best of a very difficult situation. I could have gotten really down in the dumps, but I decided to be resourceful and figure out ways to navigate my life so that I could enjoy myself to the fullest until I got to where I wanted to get to. So moral of the story is, become an international teacher. Because then you get to travel. Anyway, it's really hot out here. I'm not really sure the point of this video. I just wanted to tell you that I ended up in 7 countries over the course of a pandemic. And it was weird and crazy. But I hope you enjoyed that. That's a little bit about me. I travel a lot. And that's it. See you later. Bye.